Hi all, welcome back. Today we are going to discuss about the lacrimal apparatus. The lacrimal apparatus is a set of anatomical structures located within the orbit that are responsible for the protection and drainage of the tears. So, lacrimal apparatus function is to produce tears that moisten the ocular surface. That means it will help to prevent the friction between the eyelid and the ocular surface, means conjunctiva and cornea. Tears are thus essential in maintaining the functional integrity of the eye. So first we will see about the parts of the lacrimal apparatus. So lacrimal apparatus can be divided into two system. That is, first one is the secretory system and second one is the drainage system. In the secretory system there comes two glands, that is the main lacrimal gland and the accessory lacrimal glands. And the second portion is the drainage portion. It consists of the lacrimal passages, that is puncta, canaliculae, lacrimal sac and nasolacrimal duct. In this picture you can see the complete lacrimal apparatus. This one is the lacrimal gland and this is the lacrimal duct which connects the lacrimal glands to the secretory drainage system. That is, this here comes the lacrimal puncta, this is the canaliculae and this is the lacrimal sac and here comes the nasolacrimal duct. So we'll go in detail. First one is lacrimal glands. So lacrimal glands, in that there is two glands, right? The main lacrimal gland and the accessory lacrimal gland. First I am telling about the main lacrimal glands. So it can be divided into, that main lacrimal gland can be divided into two parts, that is the orbital part and a lower palpebral part. So the upper orbital part is a large one and it is about the size and shape of a small almond. It is situated in the lacrimal gland fossa, which we can see in the orbital plate of the frontal bone. So in this picture you can see this is the orbital part. This big one is the orbital part of the lacrimal gland and the small dotted is the palpebral part of the lacrimal gland. It is separated by levator palpebrae superioris muscle. This is levator palpebrae superioris muscle. So here comes the orbital part of the lacrimal gland. So this orbital part has two surfaces, that is superior and inferior surface. This superior surface is convex and it lies in contact with the bone. So this is the bone. So the superior part is in contact with the bone and the inferior part is concave and it lies on the levator palpebrae superioris muscle. This is the levator palpebrae superioris muscle. Next comes the palpebral part. As I told, that is a small part of the gland and it consists of only one or two lobules and it is situated in course of ducts of the orbital part, from which it is separated by levator palpebrae superioris muscle. So this is levator palpebrae superioris muscle and posteriorly it continues with the orbital part of the lacrimal gland. In this picture you can see levator palpebrae superioris muscle and this is the tarsal plate. Next comes the ducts of the lacrimal glands. So there are 10 to 12 ducts pass downward from the main gland to open in the lateral part of the superior fornix. So what is superior fornix and inferior fornix? So in this picture you can see this is the eyelid and this is the eyeball. Okay, so this is the back portion of the eyelid and from here comes the conjunctiva. From the edge of the eyelid comes the conjunctiva, starts from the edge of the or margin of the eyelid and goes like this and it will end in the limbal region. Limbus is the junction between the cornea and the sclera. So this fold is known as superior fornix and in the lower lid this is known as the inferior fornix. So this ducts will open in the lateral part of the superior fornix. So it will open in the lateral part of the superior fornix, and one or two ducts also open in the lateral part of the inferior fornix. So that's the ducts of lacrimal gland. Next comes the accessory lacrimal glands. So there are two accessory lacrimal glands. One is glands of Krause and one is glands of Wolfram. So glands of Krause, these are microscopic glands lying beneath the palpebral conjunctiva between the fornix and edge of the tarsus. These are about 42 in the upper fornix and 6 to 8 in the lower fornix. So this is seen in the palpebral conjunctiva between fornix and edge of the tarsus. So in this picture you can see from this margin to the superior fornix, this portion of conjunctiva is known as palpebral conjunctiva and remaining is the bulbar conjunctiva. So this glands of Krause can be seen in this palpebral conjunctiva near the superior fornix, and you can see glands of Wolfram's in this portion. Here you can see the superior tarsal plate. So it is on the upper part of this glands of Wolfram is present in the upper part of the superior tarsal plate. So glands of Wolfram, these are present near the upper border of the superior tarsal plate and along the lower border of the inferior tarsus. So this is the tarsal plate. Here you can see this is the superior tarsal plate and this is the inferior tarsal plate. So on the upper border of the superior tarsal plate and lower border of the inferior tarsal plate presents the glands of Wolfram. So this is about the secretory system of the lacrimal apparatus, and next comes the structure of the lacrimal glands. It's same as the salivary gland. This lacrimal glands are serous acini, similar in structures to the salivary glands, and microscopically you can see glandular tissues, that is acini and ducts, and also connective tissues and puncta. So this is about the structure of the lacrimal glands. Nothing but this is a serous acini. Next comes the blood supply. The main lacrimal gland is supplied by the lacrimal artery, which is the branch of ophthalmic artery. Okay. And next comes the nerve supply. Nerve supply, it is divided into three. That is, sensory supply is from the lacrimal nerve, which is a branch of ophthalmic division of fifth nerve. Fifth nerve is trigeminal nerve. So sensory supply is from trigeminal nerve. And sympathetic supply comes from the carotid plexus of the cervical sympathetic chain, and secretory fibers are derived from the superior salivary nucleus. So this is about the nerve supply of the lacrimal gland. That is the secretory portion. Next comes the drainage portion, that is lacrimal passage. So lacrimal passage consists of lacrimal puncta, lacrimal canaliculae, lacrimal sac, and nasolacrimal duct. And that first one is lacrimal puncta. These are two small rounded or oval openings on upper and lower lid about 6 and 6.5 mm respectively, temporal to the inner canthus. This is inner canthus. Temporal to the inner canthus, you can see two small round or oval opening on the upper and lower lids, which is 6 to 6.5 mm respectively, which is temporal to the inner canthus. So each punctum is situated upon a slight elevation called lacrimal papillae. So this is known as lacrimal papillae. A slight elevation you can see here. On top of that only you can see the puncta, which become prominent during old age. Normally the puncta dipped into laqueous lacrimalis. Laqueous lacrimalis is nothing but lacrimal lake. In this picture you can see this is the lacrimal lake or laqueous lacrimalis. So the puncta dip into this laqueous lacrimalis area. Next comes the lacrimal canaliculae. This lacrimal canaliculae joins the puncta to the lacrimal sac. So this is the connection between the puncta and the lacrimal sac, this lacrimal canalicule. So each canalicule has two parts, a vertical 1 to 2 mm and a horizontal 6 to 8 mm, which lie at right angle to each other. So in this picture you can see this is the vertical 1 to 2 mm and this is the horizontal 6 to 8 mm, which is right angle to each other. This is canalicule. The horizontal part converges towards inner canthus to open in the sac. So here you can see this converges towards the lacrimal sac. The two canaliculae may open separately or may join to form common canaliculus, which opens immediately into the outer wall of the lacrimal sac. So this two canaliculae can open separately into the lacrimal sac, or it can join together to form a common canaliculus and it open into the lacrimal sac. A fold of mucosa at this point forms the valve of Rosenmuller, which prevents the reflux of tears. So here we can see a mucosa fold here, which prevents the reflux of tears back into the eyes. That is valve of Rosenmuller. That is about the lacrimal canalicule. Next comes the lacrimal sac. This is lacrimal sac. It lies in the lacrimal fossa located in the anterior part of the medial orbital wall. This is the medial part. So medial orbital part, we can see a lacrimal fossa. Lacrimal fossa is formed by lacrimal bone. This is lacrimal bone and the frontal process of the maxilla. It is bounded by anterior and posterior lacrimal crest. This is anterior lacrimal crest and this is posterior lacrimal crest. So this is lacrimal fossa. The lacrimal sac lies in this lacrimal fossa, and when distended, lacrimal sac is 15 mm in length and 5 to 6 mm in breadth. So it has got three parts. This lacrimal sac we can divide into three parts: fundus, body and neck. So fundus is the portion above the opening of the canalicule. Body, then comes the body, that is the middle part, and the neck is the lower small part which is narrow and continuous with the nasolacrimal duct. So in this picture it is clear. So this is the fundus. Okay, above the canalicule lies the fundus and this is the body, and this narrow part is the neck of the lacrimal sac which continues with the nasolacrimal duct. The last part is the nasolacrimal duct, NLD. It extends from the neck of the lacrimal sac to the inferior meatus of the nose. It is about 15 to 18 mm long and lies in the bony canal formed by the maxilla and the inferior turbinator. So it is inside a bony canal. So the direction of the nasolacrimal duct is downwards, backwards and laterally, and externally its location is represented by a line joining from the inner canthus to the ala of the nose. So there is a line joining from inner canthus to the ala of the nose. The upper end of nasolacrimal duct is the narrowest part. So you can see here, this is the nasolacrimal duct. It starts from the neck of the lacrimal sac to the inferior turbinator, inferior meatus. So externally, if we draw a line from the inner canthus to the ala of the nose, this is ala of the nose. So that is the external representation of the nasolacrimal duct. So this is the narrowest part. And we can see numerous membranous valves in nasolacrimal duct to prevent the reflux of secretions from the nose towards backward. So the most important valve in that is valve of Hasner, which is present at the lower end of the duct and prevents reflux from the nose. You can see valve in this picture. So you can see a valve here. This is one of the important valve in the nasolacrimal duct, valve of Hasner. It will prevent the reflux from the nose. So this is about this. In this picture you can see the drainage. From this lacrimal gland, the tear gets secreted, and through this lacrimal duct it will go into the palpebral aperture, and through the sphincter and this canaliculae it will go through the lacrimal sac. From lacrimal sac through the nasolacrimal duct it will come to the inferior meatus, and it will get drained here into the nose. So this is the anatomy of lacrimal apparatus. Hope you all understand the anatomy of lacrimal apparatus, and thank you.